Hello everybody, we are doing another Senior Chefs today, and I wanted you to know that our recipe for the day came over on the boat with my grandma Weems from Edinburgh, Scotland. Today we are making Scottish shortbread. We have made this here at the center in real time for Senior Chefs, but today we are going to go ahead and do it as a Senior Chefs video. So our ingredients: 1 cup of butter. 2 sticks of butter equals 1 cup. This is unsalted butter, and so because it's unsalted, even though the recipe doesn't call for it, I'm going to be shaking in a little bit of salt. We've got 1½ cups of flour, 1/2 cup of rice flour. This is kind of the secret ingredient. You go to get a package of Walker's shortbread. It is not made with the rice flour, and so it's not nearly as good. And 1/2 cup of sugar. So this is pretty straightforward. We are going to mix in, actually we're going to start with the rice flour. And we're going to put in a little bit of the sugar. We'll put in all the sugar, why not? And then we're going to start cutting in this butter. One thing that I have learned is that when you go to cut the butter in, if you have mixed it in with all of the flour at the same time, it becomes very difficult to get it properly mixed. So at this point, we are going to, I didn't have a pastry knife with me here, so we are going to just use 2 plastic knives, and we are going to cut in the butter into this flour and sugar mixture. In some ways, I think that using the 2 knives is actually even a little bit easier than trying to use a pastry knife, because the pastry knife, it gets gummed up and it's not all that helpful. Okay everybody, I have gotten the mixtures of the dough, all mixed up together here. It's into the butter pretty nicely. I have begun to knead this. Now, right now, as you will see, it's kind of flaky. That's because the butter has not completely melted. This is one recipe where the more you knead it, the better it's going to be. The butter in this likes the heat from your hands, and so we're going to just continue to work this dough. We're going to try to not waste anything here either. We're going to work all of this in. And we're going to just keep working this until it is one smooth, pretty even ball. This is all precious stuff here because all the sugar and the rice flour and the butter, we don't want to let any of it go to waste. Okay, I think we're in pretty good shape. So what we are going to do with this is, let me get it off my hands first of all. What we're going to do with this is divide this big lump here into 4 even balls. So I'm going to try to break it as best I can. See how it weighs. A little bit more on here. We're going to break it one more time. We want them as even as possible. Good. Okay, not too shabby. Okay, so I have already pre-greased this pan. Okay, there's that. Now, at this point, what we're going to do is create 4 rounds. They should be approximately 6 inches around and about 1/4 inch thick. Okay, at this point, what we're going to do is we're going to prick the surface of the shortbreads just a tiny little bit. This will relieve any air pockets. We don't want this thing bubbling up or anything like that. The oven is set for about 315. The recipe says 325. I think that makes it go a little bit too hot. So we're putting it in for 3:15, and it's going to, we're going to check it again in about, I would say in about 20 minutes. Okay, let's hope for good things. Okay everybody, our shortbread is done. I think probably because of the weather, it's spread out a little bit wider than it ordinarily would. Ordinarily, I would expect it to puff up a little bit higher and not go quite so horizontal. In any case, it's gonna taste very, very good. What I always do while it is still hot, I sprinkle just a very, very light coating of sugar over the top of it. This sugar is going to kind of bond with the shortbread, and it will become a part of the dish at this point. And then also, while we are still working with some hot shortbread at this point, we're going to go ahead and cut it. I typically cut it in 8 segments. All right. Oh yes, this is definitely done. One other word here. When I'm doing this at home, I will ordinarily do this on parchment. So I will get parchment paper, and that actually keeps the bottom from scorching. Not that I think we're going to have any problems here, but so we're going to put these pieces of shortbread on the paper towels and let them cool. Boy, look at the bottom of that shortbread. That's the way we want it. That's exactly what we're looking for. And Jill here has worked very hard all day, and so she, I know, is looking for a little pick-me-up. So we are going to have Jill be our test subject here with this shortbread. I will take the camera while Jill gives me the obligatory oohs and ahs. Oh, Barry, this is so good. So Jill is very eager to try some fresh homemade shortbread right out of the oven.
Right, let's
so,
try this, guys.
Jill, give it a whirl. It's probably pretty hot. As it cools, it's going to crisp up.
It's very good.
All
It's
right.
really good.
Thank you. Okay, everybody. Thanks for another Senior Chefs, and we will do it all again next week.